His name sits comfortably alongside the best fighters of a classic heavyweight era. George Foreman, a feared champion with ferocious punching power and a style that matches up across generations. Boxing around the world in a variety of locations, taking on opponents of all shapes and sizes, a prime Foreman packed in the crowds, and his gung-ho style guaranteed excitement.
His legs are gone. He goes down again, and it's all over here in the second round.
An Olympic gold medalist who later became a renowned entrepreneur and inspirational religious figure, Foreman's legend was built across not one, but two careers. First, the brooding assassin of the 1970s, who threatened to bludgeon anyone standing in his way.
Goes in the side of his head, a right uppercut, a left jab, and a vicious left sends Norton crumbling to the canvas.
And later, the bald, pudgy punching preacher whose rotund physique and lights-out power fueled an unlikely second run at world title glory that ended in the Texan shocking the world with one huge right hand.
Michael Moore needs to go back to working. That's it! It's a short right hand! There is no way he's getting up from that!
After almost 25 years since his last professional fight, we take a look back at the destructive power of boxing legend Big George Foreman. They don't come much tougher than George Chuvalo, in and out of the ring. It was a testament to Foreman's bone-crunching power that he was one of only two men to stop Chuvalo across the Canadian's 93-fight career. There was no backward step taken by either fighter for as long as it lasted. The shorter Chuvalo was taking unnecessary punishment to head and body as early as the third round, prompting referee Arthur Mercante to wave it off.
Chuvalo being battered in his own corner. And Irving Ungerman, his manager, is asking the referee to stop it. He's climbing into the ring. The referee hasn't heard him. It's all over. It's all over. Arthur Mercante has stopped the fight.
A devastating third-round knockout for George Foreman, a young man destined to become heavyweight champion of the world.
Closing in on a shot at the heavyweight king, Smoke and Joe Frazier, Foreman kept the tools sharp with a second-round demolition of overmatched Ted Gullick in California. Smaller Gullick was game and could crack, but Foreman was riding high and a couple of levels above. After outboxing Gullick behind his solid lead left hand in the first round, George dropped the axe in round two, swinging away with bombs to head and body until his opponent crumbled under pressure.
Second one was right on target. And it's all over. A 10 count on two straight left hooks. We'll have an opportunity to run that back for you in slow-mo. George Foreman, a second-round knockout over Ted Gullick. And according to the unofficial time, with 2 minutes and 28 seconds.
Making the fifth defense of both of his titles in a run that had included popping Muhammad Ali's unbeaten cherry, Joe Frazier was riding high when he clashed with George Foreman in Jamaica. Over 35,000 spectators packed in to witness the two unbeaten fighters go to war. But Foreman's phenomenal power made it an unexpected mismatch.
I think he hurt Joe Frazier. I think Joe is hurt. Angie Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Battered from pillar to post, Frazier was dropped 6 times in total before referee Arthur Mercante spared the Philadelphia hard man from further misery.
Mercante checked his senses, checked Frazier's senses. It's target practice for George Foreman. It is target practice. Frazier is ready to go again. Joe is standing. There he goes. 3 times. 3 times. The fight is over. It is over. Over in the second round. George Foreman is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Making the first defense of his newly acquired heavyweight straps, Foreman traveled to Japan. Opponent Jose Roman was ranked by both governing bodies, but it never displayed any form to suggest that he could hang with the elite. So it proved, as the Puerto Rican tried to dance in and out of trouble. In such a small ring, there was nowhere to hide from the champion, and Foreman swiftly ended the game of cat and mouse with 3 knockdowns, culminating in a brutal uppercut finisher.
Against the ropes, Foreman swinging wildly and missing, but finally, final knockdown takes place. This time, Roman will not be getting up. The official time, 2 minutes of the first round.
Coming in off the back of 2 split decisions either way against the great Muhammad Ali, Illinois native Ken Norton had shown his world-class pedigree was for real. George Foreman was eager to reinforce his own credentials in Venezuela. Ken was an underdog, and Foreman had settled comfortably into his role as the #1 heavyweight.
The left-hand side of the face of Norton. Norton is a bit stunned as Foreman is teeing off, and it looks like Norton has really been staggered as he went up against the rope. The referee is giving it the count. Yes, he'll have to take the 8 count. Okay, 7, 8, and here we go as Foreman comes banging on in the second round. Norton goes down again. A left hand on the side of the head.
Norton took a count in the second, before Foreman finished him off with vicious bombs.
As the left hand goes to the side of his head, a right uppercut, a left jab, and a vicious left sends Norton crumbling to the canvas for the second time. Norton is in Queersville. He doesn't know where he is. It's up to 5, 6. I don't know if Norton can make it. It might be all over right here. But George Foreman retains the heavyweight championship.
One of the all-time great heavyweight rumbles between 2 heavy-handed sluggers of the day. In the end, Foreman just had too much guile for Ron Lyle, an ex-jailbird cut and crafted on the mean streets. The crowd went wild as the contest sparked into life almost immediately. Both were hurt, there were multiple knockdowns, and not a world title in sight. The 4th round was later listed as one of the most exciting in boxing history, and the contest was named as Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year for 1976.
Lyle caught him with a good left. Now George, now George struck back. Now George fought back with a magnificent right.
Foreman eventually won out in the 5th round.
Both men are really working here. Foreman's using power and Lyle's waiting just a little too long. They're both fighting. Foreman. Lyle's got to come back with
Now
one
it's
down.
Lyle down to the canvas.
Lyle's not going to make it, Lyle. He's not going to make it.
A knockout in the 5th round.
Not quite the brutal beating of their first meeting, but for Joe Frazier it was another stoppage loss in the rematch. Both had suffered the bitter taste of defeat, but Frazier was more weather-beaten, and it showed. Frazier tried to be more elusive, but once Foreman found him, it was all over.
Oh, and Frazier is hurt there. He nearly loses his mouthpiece. Foreman's really ploughing him with the hooks, and that left hook on Frazier's down. He's down.
Sending Frazier crashing into the ropes, Foreman leered over the victim briefly as the referee called a halt to the contest.
He manages to get his gloves up, but the left hooks come in and the right hand. And Foreman's really going for it now. Oh, Joe Frazier collapses in the corner. Down for the second time in the 5th round. Joe Frazier has lost in a dramatic 5th round stoppage.
Boxing for the first time in 2.5 years, Jerry Cooney's career at the top had hit the skids after losing his 2 biggest fights to Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks. Billed as the preacher and the puncher, Cooney lived up to his fire-fisted reputation, stunning Foreman with left hooks in the 1st round. The preacher showed that he could dig too. George dropped the New Yorker to the ropes before a dazed Cooney was frozen with a left hook and crumpled in a heap by a cuffing right hand.
George just threw that uppercut any way.
His legs are gone. He goes down again, and it's all over here in the 2nd round. George Foreman defeats Jerry Cooney. Now the question is Cooney all right?
Representing a step up in class of sorts for Big George as his comeback tour gathered pace, big punching Brazilian Adilson Rodriguez was world ranked by one of the sanctioning bodies. Rodriguez had beaten many of the usual suspects at heavyweight, but was 2 fights removed from a knockout loss to Evander Holyfield. Foreman moved closer to a shot at the real deal himself with a crunching 2nd round KO win as Rodriguez folded from a powerful final left hook.
That what becomes a knockout punch doesn't always look like one, and Rodriguez goes down.
and 39 seconds of the second round, and with a series of blows begun by a pair of left-hand uppercuts, George Foreman puts away Adelson Rodriguez.
Just as his big comeback was running out of steam, 45-year-old veteran Foreman pulled off a remarkable upset and claimed the WBA and IBF heavyweight titles, coming in off the back of a defeat to Tommy Morrison. Having also previously lost to Evander Holyfield, it looked like the game was up for Big George. Having been outboxed for the majority of the Las Vegas headliner by unbeaten southpaw Michael Moore, Foreman finally found a home for his big right hand and stunned the champion, audience, and commentators.
Michael Moore needs to go back to working. That's it! It's a short right hand! There is no way he's getting up from that!
21 years after first winning the heavyweight title, it happened again.